Welcome to Beauty for Ashes, a special program designed to make you understand that life has many faces and paths, and ultimately, through our experiences in life, it makes us decide who to become and how we can become better people and use it to make positive impact in the society. My name is Jennifer Nwosu, and once again, welcome to Beauty for Ashes. I'd like to introduce my guest, Oluwatobiloba Raji. She is a survivor, she's a warrior, she's a woman of many paths. She has been through a lot of harrowing experiences in life, but greatly what she has experienced has shaped her into who she has become and what she uses it to do in the society. I'd like to introduce to you Oluwatobiloba Raji. Hello, Toby. Welcome to Beauty for Ashes.
Hi, Jennifer.
All right. Now, Toby Loba has gone through hell and back. She is a survivor of multiple rape and suicide. You might find that a bit too difficult to digest, but Toby will tell you her story and she'll share to you how it has made an impact in her life, what she went through, and how she stands strong and tall. Toby, can we get your story?
Yes, thank you very much, Jennifer. It's nice meeting you. Actually, rape is not something or an occurrence anyone wish, you know, to either a loved one or an enemy. You understand? But then my own experience, built me to be the woman I am today. And, having been encountered my first rape experience at age 8, perpetrated by my maternal uncle, that's my mother's brother, and it engulfed till I got to age 15. And not only that, between age 13 to 19 years, I encountered 10 multiple counts of rape by 10 different unknown person, and that is even it's excluding the minor sexual assault from different persons as well. But now talking about the main event, the penetration, the forceful act, that is multiple counts. And, as a child growing up, and the first encounter was with my uncle, it was so sad, and I couldn't get my bearing as growing into a teenager, into an adult. I found life so difficult. Life had no meaning to me. But then, if I asked myself, why me? Because that has always been my question. Why me? Why did I have to go through these pains, these orders? Then the only response I get is you miss my message. And that's so powerful. It's so deep, when in all your questions, your inquiries, about this painful life, this painful experience, and the only response you get is you miss my message. So to me, it's a form of, it helps shaping my destiny. It helps align my purpose. It gave me a purpose to why I am alive. Peradventure, if I had not experienced that, I won't be a shoulder to other people who had gone through that, others, for me to give them my shoulder to lean on as of today. You understand? Yes, you don't have to go through this phase to comfort others, but there are some people, some journeys in life are destined for you to pass through, to go through, so that other people who are, either who are falling into that same situation or going to fall or will fall, they have seen you as a place of solace. Like, this person has been through this. If she lives, if she's alive, then I can live. then
Interesting.
I shouldn't give up on life. You understand? You know, as a child, having to go through that phase first with my uncle, my maternal uncle, it was so shameful. And I never knew anything called rape because there was no orientation, sexual education about, okay, when someone do this, it is called rape, it is sexual assault, it is molestation. No. But I knew within me this is wrong. This is not normal. But then I couldn't fight. I was just a child. And, I also drew a lot of lessons out of it while growing up as an adult. That, okay, these things happened. How do I prevent it from happening to my next door neighbor? You understand? So my next door neighbor is every child I see around me. Every child I am privileged, to be in their circle, to protect, to love, to cherish, to nurture, and to grow. So I see it as an assignment to ensure every child is protected, regardless the age, the gender, the social background, and lots more. And then this affected my self-esteem as a child. It affected me a lot, even while growing into an adult. If you are my friend, at times I've seen myself as less beautiful. I have seen myself as less intelligent. I've seen myself as, just less of everything. Then if you trace it back, you are able to find the roots to this foundation that has caused this problem, which is sexual molestation. It took away my pride. It took away my sense of reasoning, understanding, assimilation, my pride as a child, my pride as human, But regardless, I choose to live. Regardless, I choose to be a point of contact, a point of comfort. Regardless, I choose to say no. My past won't define who I am. It took a long while. It's a process. When people talk about healing from the past, it's not just something that happened a day. There's no magic about that. It's a process. There are processes. There are processes to that final destination of healing, perfect healing. And this healing we are talking about, it's a process. You can't cheat nature when it comes to forgiving or not forgiveness or forgetting the past, but then you just have to live.
Wow, Toby Lover, I was speechless all through. I could rarely, say anything because this is a moving, emotional plot. More like it's a real story, but it sounds like something crafted from a movie or a book. Now I know, survivors of, incidents like rape, domestic violence, and all those social vices. They always say that at a point they cried for help, nobody came. And from what you said, you more or less went through your healing yourself. Where did you find some kind of support from? Like, emotional support? Was it from your family? Was it from your friends? Was it from your church? Or basically, how were you able to sail through?
You ask a very funny question. It's funny and then it's so appealing. Anyway, my healing didn't come from family. My healing came from the within. It started from the day I chose to live. Like I said, you see, when it comes to rape and domestic violence or every other social vices that we all witness today or see people go through, the truth of the matter is no matter how they are loved, you sympathize with them, you empathize, you offer to help. If within them they have not chosen to forget the past, forgive the past, move on. If they have not chosen to leave, nothing will be done.
So basically, it's all starts and ends
Within
with
you.
you.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. All right, we'll take a quick break right now. I will be right back. All right, back from that break. I'm still talking with Oluwatobiloba Raji. She is a survivor of multiple rape and suicide incidents, and Toby has been telling her story. Now back to Oluwatobiloba. Tobiloba, when these things happened, I mean, it happened to you at a very impressionable age. You said you were 8 years old when these things started. Now, who were you able to open up to? Who were you able to talk to? And when you said these things, because I know in our society, even when such vices, get done to you, people still tend to put blame on you, no matter how young or anything you are. But, there's this thing about society labeling a young female child as a doctress, even as a baby. So how were you able to come out with this, and what responses and reactions came with it?
Thank you, Jennifer. My first encounter, like I said, my maternal uncle, the very first night, my mother was a witness. And it happened that we had a family function in my immediate family, and then he came to visit and he slept in the children's room. Many a times people tend to forget the fact that regardless of the familiarity, there should be boundaries. And, because we have so many people coming out to speak, to share their experiences, a lot of people are also learning. So one of the disadvantages I suffered, the consequence was my uncle slept in our room. That's the children's room, because there was no other space for him
No spare room
to sleep. And when it happened, we were asleep, and I noticed a hand touched me to my dress, and then before I could, who is that? He overpowered me, covered my mouth, and then had his way. It happened, within,
suddenly.
just like we watch movies. And I really don't know. I was not thinking well, what just happened? In tears, he pushed me out of the room, and my mom, fortunately, was going to the restroom. Then she saw me, and of course, as a mother, she saw my body stained, and then immediately dragged me back to the room to question him, and started fighting him, blah, blah, blah.
So your mother actually stood up for you at this point?
She did not stand up for me. She did not speak for me. But when it happened, she fought the brother. What have you done? What have you done? She beat me as well. So I was beaten as well.
She beat you?
Yes, I was beaten. Yes, I was beaten mercilessly alongside the brother. And the next day, the brother, went back to his bed. It happened 1996. And exactly 11:45 p.m. That time, because we have a work lock in our room, sticks to my brain. So I can't forget. I was just 8. And after the whole thing, the guy went back to wherever he came from, and my mom told me, shh, nobody must hear about this. Nobody must know. And as a child, I need no one to tell me that this is a family thing.
So it should be kept within the family?
So it should be kept.
Okay, now, Toby, I understand your mother's pain, probably not wanting to be ridiculed in public and also saving you from that. But did you get to have, closer times with her? Maybe she will, talk to you and probably tell you to let go, things like that.
Okay, so after that event, a year or 2 years after, the guy was brought back to live with us by my mother. Yes. Like he was struggling with some examinations, and she's in the best position to assist, you know.
Him.
And then he came to live with us again, and he continued from where he stopped. So the question is, she's saying that in the first place, and I have been giving her a shut down. Don't speak, don't talk, don't tell anyone. It became so difficult to even look her in the face and say, what you saw that time,
It's still reoccurring.
it is happening again. So at that moment, I made a conclusion that perhaps it was planned. I knew it was bad, but I wasn't want to talk to. The only person I feel I could talk to, who could fight for me then, was my mother. But I felt this person happened to be a brother, a blood brother, so she doesn't want issues with the family, and she's trying to protect the family name, and then my father was not here.
All right, Toby Lover.
You know.
Now, that was, what happened. After so many years up till now, what is your relationship like with your mother and your maternal uncle, the perpetrator of that act?
Okay, so you see that main incident has caused strife, hatred, a lonely journey for me in particular, because right now I don't have a family because I chose to speak out. I was silenced for 22 years of my life, and I was dying. I was dying, but I needed to speak out to be free, because each time I think about the incident, I just want to die. Because each time there is a family function and I see this, my uncle, there was no remorse, no.
But you were the one who was feeling the shame.
Yes, so I feel this shame, I feel this pain. I even feel the guilt, like, okay. Then I was able to strike a conversation between myself and my mother, like a few years back. Mom, I wanted to know if perhaps she has forgotten, or it was affecting my mental health. Like,
exactly.
It's not normal. Mom, do you realize something happened to her? And she told me, I seduced her brother. Yes.
8 year old.
Yes.
Seducing a man.
Like, I seduced, and I asked her, seduced a grown-up adult, because at that time, he wasn't a teenager. He was in his 20s, early 20s.
A full-grown man.
So, an 8 years seducing an adult who can think from his left to his right.
Now, that's really sad. Now, Toby, I believe those, you said it wasn't just from your uncle, other people around, and possibly those things drove you to start having suicidal thoughts and, having to make suicidal attempts on your life. Now, that is one line, a lot of people, might find hard to cross. And when you do cross that line, it's really a determinant factor in your life. So how were you able, how did you get to that point?
Okay, so when I was growing up, sometimes I could just sit, and whenever I see my uncle in the house, I begin to, shiver, and then on many occasions, I try to use the knife on myself. And one of the occasions, my dad walked in and said, what are you doing with it? And I said, I want to get the bread. And he said, bread? There is no bread. You don't really eat bread. And there is no bread in the house. He just snatched the knife and said, you love to play rough. What are you doing with a knife? But within me, I was sad. Like, why did this man walk in at this moment? Because then I watch movies and I see people stab themselves. I see people stab someone. I said, okay, so I can also do this. But then there will always be an intermediary whenever I wanted to do that. So as a child, I attempted suicide over 5 times. And as an adult, I attempted suicide over 5 times. You know, and for the 10 other persons, it's so funny, and a lot of people had asked me, how can something happen to you once?
And it keeps on
And
reoccurring.
it keeps reoccurring. Definitely, you are not ashamed of yourself. You must be a shameless prostitute. I've seen someone told me to my face, you called for it.
Oh, wow.
And I've had people tell me, you know, even your body shape, we make men want to sleep with you. And I ask, did I create myself?
Now, like I said from when I made my introductions, our society is not very forgiving. They're very good at moral policing. They're very good at telling people things what to do, but they never come out to help. Tobiloba, you know, you've gone through so much, and you were actually being blamed for actions being perpetrated against you. How were you able to deal with this and tell yourself and let yourself know that you were not the cause of your problems, but people in society who could not control themselves, people in society who were lacking empathy towards you, and even people who could not, in some way, reach out to you despite all your pain and experiences?
You see, I've come to grow a very tough skin at responses and reactions, behaviors, including judgments.
Hold your thoughts right there. Oluwa Tobiloba will continue her story and take you through the journey she's been through. We'll be right back. Okay, Toby, at that point where between tears and trying to put up a straight face. So, like I asked you, how were you able to overcome, you know, people's ridicule of the obstacles, you know, and just realize that, you know, I really don't need people to tell me how to be me.
So, you see, it is very, very common for people to pass negative judgments because they have not been in that shoe. They don't know how it pains, it hurts. They don't know what actually happened. And then in this present generation and the society we live in, the victim is always the accuser. The accused, rather.
Accused, wow.
You know, and then they tell you, why did you wear that clothes? Why did you walk in that path? Why did you eat that food? Why did you take that drink? Why don't you point out straight to the perpetrator that, see, you are the evil one. You have done this evil, regardless of the environmental factor. You did this. Then the person know that I did this. It's my fault. Not telling the victim that it's your fault for trusting a friend. You can imagine a female gender trusting a male gender, visiting, and then she ended up being drugged and raped. And you're telling the lady, why did you go to a trusted friend's house? Or it is in both ways.
Yeah.
You understand? So now telling an 8-year-old who was sexually molested by an uncle who understand this is my blood, this is a family, this is wrong, even if I'm not a family.
An underage
An
child
underage.
having non-consensual
No consent.
sexual relations.
And you are telling me it's my fault, so I should get the blame. And the society is telling me, keep quiet. Why are you speaking out now? Let's settle it. It is a family. It's not a family issue. It is a problem. There is a sickness that must be cured. And how did I overcome this negativity? Because I chose to tell myself, this is me. I am the one in this picture, not you. So I choose to react the way I should react. I choose to define myself the way God defined me, not the way you define me. You understand? So it was at that point when I got to that stage in my life, I started healing bit by bit.
All right, Toby, you mentioned God. Now, I believe you are a believer and your faith would have also helped you. Now, where you worship or where you fellowship, were they part of the people who helped you through this process, or did you face that same ridicule you got from your family members and friends out there?
Okay, so well, as a believer, I my I got close to my pastor's wife, and before then, she noticed from afar. She drew me close as a daughter and friend, and then she told me, I don't know you, but I want to be a friend. And that was the very first time in my life someone who has not, been in in contact with me, like
In your
maybe blood
circle of,
relation or circle of friends, just walked up to me and say, I want to be a friend. And I was amazed. So the first thing I did was to burst into tears. And she was like, then the next thing she said was, I can relate. She doesn't know anything about me, but she said, I can relate. And that was how she invited me to her house, and she offered me a cold, a cup of water, and she just asked, oh, tell me what you love doing. And I paused, and I looked at her. Do you truly want to be a friend? She said, yes. And that was how it started. So she was the first person to notice I was going into depression. She was the first to notice I was having loss of memory. She was the first to notice I was looking unkept, even though everyone around me felt all was well. But she noticed. She was so sensitive. She's so sensitive about me. Even if we don't see for days, like physically, she just call, hello, Toby, how you doing? Can you come around? Let's have dinner together. Oh, there's a movie I want you to watch with me. Just like that. She's not a family member, but she became a family I never had.
That's amazing.
She's my pastor's wife. And I became a family, I became a friend to the house, and I told her my story. And she didn't tell me, oh, you must have been possessed, because I've had that several times. Like, you're possessed of evil spirit. That is why men desire. No. She told me you are loved of God. Jesus loves you, and is concerned, is intentional about you. It is not a matter of your past, but is interested in your future. And she was the first to tell me, Toby, do you know you carry so much grace. You have a great glory that people are waits to give comfort to.
Wow. Thank God for that testimony from you. Now, Toby, in the course of your relationship with her, you said she noticed certain psychological factors. Now, from that period, were you able to get help medically to enable you live a balanced life, so to speak?
Okay, yes. So when she noticed that, even myself, I didn't notice something was wrong. But she put me to test psychologically, and I give kudos to her. So that was the day after service at church. She asked to have a conversation with me. So when we were discussing, she called my name and said, what did I say last? And I was blank. I was like, okay. Then I did this. She said it's fine. That she just wanted to confirm what she has been perceiving for days. And she took me to the office, our husband's office in the church, and said, she held my hands and said, Toby, you need help. At this point, I was very much an adult. I said, no, Mommy, I'm fine. I'm okay. She said, no, you need help. please, let's do this together. So it was difficult. I said, are you saying I am mad? She said, no, you're not mad, but you need help.
Right.
Please.
And you got that help at
I
the
got
end of the day.
I got that help.
Tobiloba, now at this point, through it all, you were able to overcome. And you've used your experiences to establish yourself as a woman who people want to be around. And you also have an outreach. It's one of the key things, that has ministered to you and you used to give back to the society. So could you quickly just talk about, what you do, what happened to you, and how you've used this as an experience, to make people better in the society?
Okay, so instead of wallowing in my past pains and trauma, I decided to, utilize my strength, which I got from the pains, to create safe space for children. Presently, I am a GBV advocate, as gender-based violence advocate, but with focus on child safety. And when I mean child safety, utilizing everything, every tools, every skills, every experiences I have acquired to ensure every child around me is secured. And one of the things I do currently is I co-founded a project, School on the Street Initiative, which provides quality education for underserved children in a rural community called the Yano Ilobo community, Ogun State. And then currently we have 150 children who attend school at no cost. And currently too, we have an underage girl child who live with me in the Volunteers Lodge, because we're able to strike a dialogue with the parent to stop her from child labor. And then we're able to win that, and she lives currently with us. So I feel this is my little way of, 7 children giving back to the society through, my experiences and all of that. And also currently we have one of the girl child from the community who attend the school, who also live with us at the Volunteers Lodge, who were able to win out of child labor.
Toby's story is amazing. It is nothing short of a miracle. She says it's the little she does, but for a lot of us, we know it is way out of the normal to give back in such huge proportions. Once again, all this can only be done through the amazing grace and strength of Christ. Thank you all for sitting through this, and don't forget that this program is from the stables of Divine Television, and you can always follow us across all our social media platforms at Divine TV. That's D with an apostrophe VINE. And we're also on YouTube for you to watch the show anytime you want. Don't forget, Divine TV is helping enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. God bless you all. See you all next time. Bye now.